thank you for watching. Today's video is going to be a review style video from a first impressions video I did a couple weeks ago. I always come back after trying out new makeup on camera to give my reviews on everything. So today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Lawless Beauty Foundation, the Too Faced Born This Way Concealer, the Urban Decay Born to Run palette, a few other items, and I'm also really excited because I am going to be doing a giveaway in this video. I am going to be giving away both of these Stilazzi blush palettes, so I'm super excited about that. Stilazzi reached out to me and asked if I would like to do a giveaway in my review video for them, and I said yes, of course. It's not sponsored, they just asked if I wanted to do a giveaway, and I sure do. So stay tuned because I will be explaining how to enter into the giveaway to win both of these blush palettes. But if you are ready to hear my reviews on some of these new products, why don't we go ahead and get started. So first up, I do want to review the foundation from Lawless Beauty. This is the Woke Up Like This Flawless Finish Makeup. This is $46. I got mine in the shade Sahara. And what it says it's a foundation formulated for all skin types with a buildable coverage and a fresh, radiant finish. It's supposed to be a full coverage, but also lightweight and leave you with more of like a dewy finish. So I picked mine up from Sephora, and again, I got mine in the shade Sahara, which I thought was going to be like a touch too dark for me, but my shade that I was like shade matched to was sold out. So I was like, well, I'll just try, you know, the next shade that would still match my undertone up, since I am, you know, in summertime, and I thought I could maybe go for a little bit darker of a foundation. I could tell immediately once I was trying this on that this was a horrible shade match for me. You know, of course, I'll have my video linked down below of me trying out all these products so you can see what my first thoughts were. And I knew that this one was not going to be a good shade match, but instead of running out to Sephora and, you know, exchanging it for the correct shade, I was like, I can still wear the foundation and see if it's going to work for me. Because, you know, when you go in to exchange it, they're just going to be throwing this foundation away. And I was like, if I exchange it and I still don't like it, what was the point of doing that? Like, that was wasteful. So I was like, I can still wear it. You know, I'm someone who, I'm not really afraid anymore to wear a foundation that doesn't match me correctly on YouTube, because I'm filming every single day. I'm uploading a video every single day. Like, sometimes I'm gonna have to wear makeup that maybe doesn't match me the best or doesn't work out the best. And it's because I'm trying to make these review videos as quickly as I can and putting out as many reviews as I can on new makeup products. So I was like, meh, whatever. I knew the shade match wasn't there, and it was so strangely off. It almost made me look kind of green, which was very strange. And I noticed a few people made that comment as well. Like, it's almost like a green yellow, and I don't really know what that was about. It was a strange shade match. But if you disregard that, the foundation just unfortunately did not work for me. I really thought that it would, even though it was full coverage. I don't typically gravitate towards full coverage. I prefer medium to full, but I was like, I feel like this maybe could still work for me, because a lot of times we're getting full coverage matte foundations. This one was supposed to be more of a dewy finish, which is more in my preference when it comes to my makeup style. So I was like, I think that I can still get on with it. I also really like Lawless Beauty as a brand. I'm a big fan of their liquid lipsticks, and I'm just a big fan of like seeing what they're going to be coming out with next. It's a newer brand, and I really like the concept and the idea behind Lawless Beauty. So I was super excited to try the foundation. So it didn't work for me on a couple different levels. So first, I don't think the lasting power was there for me. After I would wear it for like maybe like the 6-hour mark, it was starting to break up on me pretty bad. I do think that it did give me a dewy finish right away, which again, I do like. I do have more dry skin. Right now I'm kind of like dry combo as we're in the warmer months here. But it was like overly so. And I wore this, it was actually the night that I was filming the video trying it on. I was going to a baseball game that night. It was really warm here. We were outside, we were at a baseball game, and I had the foundation on for I think 2.5 hours at that point, because basically I didn't know I was going to be leaving as quickly as I was when I was filming that video. And I got done and my friend was like, I can pick you up in 15 minutes, let's go early. I was like, whoa, okay, let me take some photos. I went into the bathroom fairly quickly after we got there, and I pulled my sunglasses up and looked at myself in the mirror, and my face, like, I can remember looking in the mirror and being like, what happened here? I was so shiny, I was so oily, there was like you could see where the foundation had like broken up on me, and I had powdered my skin, knowing that I was going to be going out into the heat and, you know, going to need my foundation to last for a few hours. I did powder my skin and it was still broken up, and at that point, I mean, I'll say it was maybe 3 hours that I had the foundation on, and I looked horrible, and I wasn't doing anything. Like, I was sitting in the shade. I wasn't even like in the sun. I wasn't moving around a lot. I was sitting in the shade like eating at the pregame, and I just couldn't believe how bad my skin looked, and I felt so self-conscious the rest of the night. I had powder in my purse and I was trying to powder and make it better, but it was like I didn't want to take my sunglasses off because I was so self-conscious of what my skin looked like. And like afterwards our friends were like, we're going out, do you want to go? And I was like, no, like, because I'm gonna have to be out and about with my face looking like this. It looked so bad on me, and I was sincerely pretty bummed about that because I really wanted this foundation to work. Hearing full coverage and a radiant dewy finish, I was like, yes, finally, not a matte finish, but this was like way too overboard. I don't know if you have oily skin, if this would get along with you, because even on my dry skin, I looked like an oil slick after just a couple hours of wearing this when I was outside. The times that I've worn it where I've stayed inside, again, I really can't get past that 6-hour mark before it starts to just do some funky things onto my skin. So unfortunately, this one was a huge miss for me, and I'm really bummed about that because I thought that we were going to get along really well. So I am going to go ahead and take this back to Sephora. It was $46, so dang it. But you know, that's why I didn't want to go in and exchange shades right away. Just, you know, the shade match doesn't matter to how long it doesn't last on me and how well it doesn't last on my skin. But, you know, I know some people are saying sometimes if the shade doesn't match you, it can throw you off. The shade match didn't have anything to do with how my skin looked after just a few hours of wear after being outdoors. So unfortunately, this one did not work for me, and that's a bummer. But let's move on to something that does work for me. This is from Too Faced. It's the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. So this is $29. This was sent to me in PR from Too Faced, which is very exciting to me. I was really pumped to try this out. I picked out the shade Light Beige from the package that Too Faced sent me. This is $29 if I didn't say. It's supposed to be full coverage and also more of like a hydrating concealer. Really, really liking this concealer. I do think that it is more on the full coverage side, but it's not too full, it's not too thick, it's not too cakey. It's also not too dry. I have zero issues building this out. I have zero issues blending this out, but I also really like the coverage that it's giving the under eye. I'm 31 years old and I can deal with a little bit of like not quite so like firm and plump under eyes at this moment, and sometimes concealers can really help kind of hide that fact and kind of almost make my under eyes a little bit brighter and just look a little bit like lifted almost, and I feel like this concealer does that for me, which I really enjoy, but I like that it's pretty lightweight at the same time. I think it's really easy to blend out as well, and it's also more of a hydrating concealer, but one that I really don't get a lot of creasing with. Sometimes with more hydrating concealers, I can become like crease city right away. This one doesn't. I do think that you still have to set it, but that's what I think with most concealers. But I really don't get a lot of creasing with this one. I don't see it moving around a lot on my skin either, you know, as I set it. So this one I've been very happy with. I do have it on my under eyes today and I'm super impressed with it. You also do get 0.5 fluid ounces of product, which is basically like half of, usually foundations are typically around like the 1 ounce. I think that's pretty awesome how much product that you're getting in here as well. I do like the applicator on it also. Here is what that looks like. I like the applicator, I like the packaging of it, and I've been very impressed with this one from Too Faced. So next up I want to jump over to the mascara that I tried. So in that video I tried from Lancome the Monsieur Big Waterproof Mascara. I do also have the regular mascara, so I thought I could talk about them both. These are $25 for a full size. Now I definitely like the regular versus the waterproof more. I don't know what it is, but I felt like when I was using the regular mascara, I felt like my lashes were just, they were a little bit longer, they were a little bit more on the full side. I still didn't get really any flaking with this. It wasn't transferring onto my skin at all. I liked the wand, so this one I liked. The waterproof one, I felt like even after I did 2 coats, like I felt like it just didn't really look like I was wearing a lot of mascara. I didn't notice a ton, especially with volume. I feel like it helped the length a little bit, but I didn't notice much with volume like I did with the regular formula. This is also incredibly difficult to get off. I don't reach for waterproof mascaras a ton. I wanted to use it that day because, again, I knew I was going to be outside at a ball game, like in the elements, and you know, probably sweating and all of that, so I figured it'd be better to try out the waterproof one. But it is really, really hard to remove at night, which is like, it's like good in some ways because like, yes, your mascara is not moving, but then at night I feel like I'm tugging and pulling on my lashes, and I'm like pulling my lashes out because I'm trying to get my mascara off, which isn't great. But even just like disregarding that fact, I still just felt like I liked this one better. I felt like it was doing more for my lashes, so I thought that was interesting. But I like this mascara, $25, you know, it is more of a high-end mascara. I think you can get minis of it as well. These were both sent to me from Lancome. I don't know if I would repurchase it though, which I'm kind of bummed about because I feel like I've heard people say really like awesome, amazing things about this. And I don't know if I was as blown away as I have been with some other mascaras. It's not the worst mascara I've ever tried, and I will still continually wear this one, and I will still enjoy it, but I think if it came down to it, I don't think I would repurchase it on my own unless I was gonna buy a mini and like I really needed a new mascara in my collection or something, you know? So it wasn't terrible or anything, it's just not my like favorite mascara. So next up, I want to talk about the eyeshadow palette that I used in that video, which was the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This palette is $49. I love the packaging on it. You have a mirror, and then you have 21 different shades inside, which is awesome. I do like that the mirror flips all the way back without feeling like you're going to break your palette. I quite enjoy that as well. And then these are all of the shades inside. So when I was filming the first impression style, like trying new makeup video, I had just scratched my cornea in my right eye. Literally took my fingernail and sliced it across the entire length of my eye. I had a scratched cornea. I was trying to kind of like back off doing anything too crazy with my eye makeup because my eye was in pain and I was doing eye drops and everything. So I did a pretty simple look in that video. I've done something more colorful for an Instagram video. I will have that one linked down below. I was just wearing it the other day as well in my Beauty Empties video. I used almost every shade in here. I think it's just a few of the darker ones that I haven't gone into, like Jet, Drift, and I think that might be it. I think that I've done a pretty good job trying to get everything, but it is, I mean, 21 shades, that's a lot of shades, and I wanted to get my review going for it because I know people have been asking for it. I am so impressed with this eyeshadow palette. This palette makes me so happy. When I was talking about it in the Will I Buy It video, I said the packaging really intrigued me and the concept behind the Born to Run because I love traveling. I was a travel major in college. I always feel the need and the desire to be going somewhere and learning something new. And I was immediately drawn to it. And I nearly bought this myself, even though I was trying to talk myself out of it. I still had it in my Ulta cart for a while. And I actually ended up getting the collection NPR from Urban Decay, which was so exciting for me. And I'm happy to say that would I purchase this with my own money for the $49 eyeshadow palette? I would. The quality in here is so nice, and it just reminds me again of like why I love Urban Decay so much. The mattes are very pigmented and they're very easy to blend. The shimmers are so easy to work with. I've used the really light shimmers. I've used some of the really dark shimmers on this end of the palette. I have had no issues with them. I get very minimal fallout when I use this palette, and I just love the different, I feel like when I reach into this palette, I like to do different things, and I'm, you know, a neutral eyeshadow lover, and that's typically what I go for. But I feel like even when I do a neutral look, like what I was doing in my Empties video, I got a lot of comments in there like it was almost more of like a grungy side, and I think it was because I paired the 1993 lipstick with it as well. But it was kind of like a grungy, bronzy look, and I was like, you know, I was going for something more neutral that day, and it ended up being something a little different because once I start playing with the shadows in here, I just get excited and I want to keep playing with more of them. So I really enjoyed the color scheme in here, and overall for the quality of this palette, I think it is fantastic. I know a lot of people have asked me, you know, it seems really similar to the Perception palette from Colourpop, and if you have the Perception palette, this is the palette that I feel like I'm gonna break when I do that. If I have the Perception palette, do I need the Urban Decay palette? The Perception palette was in collaboration with Makeup Shayla, and it is $23. So you can see that, I mean, clearly these are pretty darn similar to one another, and I feel like you would have some overlap. I think one of the biggest differences between these palettes is that that this one is mostly shimmers. You don't get a lot of mattes with this palette, and I do have a review on this palette as well. I can leave it linked down below for my further thoughts. So I feel like I start a lot of my makeup looks the same with this, but then you can top it with a different shimmer and it's really pretty. This has a nice mixture of mattes and shimmers, so if that's something that's more your style, you might like this one more. And I feel like I just have more options with the Perception palette. Obviously it has more shades, and because of the mixture of the matte and shimmers, I just feel like I have more options. Now again, if you have the Perception palette, do you need both? That is going to be totally your call. If you want to spend the $49 on this one as well, if you're greatly happy with this one, would that matter to you? That's gonna have to be your decision. I will say for quality wise though, this is fantastic, and I think that it's definitely worth the money, and I've really been enjoying all the different looks that I've come up with, so I am so happy with this palette. I really am. I continually keep reaching for it, and I love feeling inspired, because I don't always feel that way with eyeshadow palettes because I'm not the most artistically creative person. Sometimes I kind of struggle if I'm not looking at a tutorial, like what should I do with this palette? And that's a little bit what I feel with the Perception palette. A lot of the looks I've done with it, I've actually done from YouTube tutorials. Definitely Makeup Shayla's I've copied several times. The Black Smoky Eye that I did recently, that was off Makeup Shayla's tutorial that she did with the Perception palette. Whereas when I go into the Born to Run, I'm like, okay, I can do this. And again, I think it probably is because I have more shades to work with and that mixture of the matte and shimmers that I feel a little bit more confident in my own skills that I can make it happen. But I mean, yes, overall, would I recommend this? Yes, I've been super happy with this palette. So I'm gonna move over to the ones from Stilazzi. These are the blush palettes. Like I said, I am doing a giveaway with this one as well. So these were also sent to me in PR. So the blush books are $29 each, and you have two different options. This one here is the Bahamas palette. Each palette has 6 shades and also a mirror. So this one here is the Bahamas palette. You have some of the lighter tones in here. I have a mixture of the blushes on today, but one of them that I have on is Mai Tai. The ones in here, Flamingo is a really nice bright pink. Tropic is a really pretty coral, which I'm quite into at the moment. These two are more of like what I would say to be blush toppers. They have a little bit more shimmer to them. And then Shell here is this light pink, and it's a little bit more on the satiny side. Again, I think it would make a nice blush topper. And then the other one is Barbados. And for Barbados, I actually have this bright orange on. It was one of the shades that I hadn't tried yet, and I was like, I really need to try that one. So I put Mango Tango on, and then I put the Mai Tai over it from the other palette. And that is the blush that I have on today. But this one, you have a little bit more deeper shades in here, like this orange, this really hot pink. Salsa is a really beautiful, it's kind of like a terracotta-y shade, I would say. And then we have these two on the sides here, have more shimmer to it. And then we have another matte in the middle, which is called Private Island. Gotcha. Like I said, these are $29. I am an affiliate with Stilazzi, so if you use the code Samantha, you do get some money off, and it is an affiliate code. I wanted to let you know. I reviewed their brushes recently. I'm a big fan of their eye brushes, especially. I've been using them quite a bit, and I was really excited to try out these blush palettes. These palettes are incredibly pigmented. You need a very small amount. I recommend using a fluffy brush, nothing too dense, because when you just tap your brush in there, like one little tap, you are going to get a lot of pigment onto your brush. So this is not anything that you have to like really go ham on, dig your brush into the blushes. No, they're going to show up right away. So if you get these blush palettes and you really go in there with your brush and you go like that and you look like a clown, you cannot blame me, because I'm here telling you that, because I've done that. I feel like there's a lot of blushes where you really need to build them up, or you really need to put your brush into them. Not these. You are getting that payoff right away. It's just something that I want to make note of too, though, because a lot of times I do my blush towards the end, and if you get a blush that is too pigmented and too bright, you're like, oh no, how do I tone this down? So that is something to make note of. These are both really nice palettes. Again, I would be able to recommend them, and I would just say go in with a little bit of a light hand. But if you are interested in winning them, so one winner will win each of the 2 palettes in here. I will have a link for the giveaway down below, like I do with all of my giveaways. That way I can just verify everybody's entries. They're in one spot, and then the generator would choose the winner. So make sure to click that link in my description box so you can get entered. And then all you have to do is be a subscriber to this channel, subscribe to the Stilazzi YouTube channel as well, which will be linked, and then leave a comment on this video letting me know your favorite part of summer. I would love to know. Mine would definitely just be the weather and being able to be outside. I'm just happier when I'm outdoors and warm and in the sunshine. So let me know your favorite part of summer in the comments. Make sure to enter via the generator. I'll have the end date. I think I'm gonna have it open for 10 days. It is open international, and Stilazzi is actually responsible for sending out the blush palettes. So once I choose a winner from the generator, I will send their information to Stilazzi. They will reach out to the winner, get a hold of you for your mailing address, and they will send that out to you. So it is international. Just make sure to click that link in the description box, and any other details for the giveaway will be listed down below. A big thank you to Stilazzi for letting me do this giveaway. Again, this is not sponsored, but I always get excited when I'm able to team up with a brand to do a giveaway to let you guys try out a product. The last item that I'm going to review for today's video is from Pixi by Petra. This is the Glowy Gossamer Duo in Delicate Dew. This is $16. You can also find Pixi Beauty at Target. This is a stunning highlight, and I was actually a little unsure when I was trying it out in that video. I kind of felt like I had to build it up a little bit, and I was like, I don't know, is it gonna be as good as I was hoping for? Oh yeah, it really is. So I love that you get two different highlights in here. One is more of like a pinky highlight, and the other one is more of a champagne. I do have my ring light on today, but those are the swatches from them, and I just think they're beautiful. I love that you get the two highlights in one. When you break it down, $16 for two, I don't think it's too bad. I like to mix these together, but I do like wearing them on their own as well. I'm really into pinky highlights right now, so I've been reaching for this side quite a bit, but this is also a really stunning highlight as well. I don't think you can go wrong with either of them, and I think that they're really, really nice. They're very smooth, and if I do use a more kind of like densely packed brush, like the Sigma F03 is my favorite highlight brush, if I use that, I really only have to do like 2 passes, and then it gets built up to like, boom, what I really like to see. I don't have it on today, just so you know, but I like more of this blinding highlight. I got my homegirl Mary Lou on today, and I just think it is beautiful. So I was a bit nervous after trying it out, but really using the F03, just coming in like 2 times, building it up, and I think it looks beautiful. It's a really smooth highlight, and it just looks like it doesn't emphasize a lot of texture for me or anything like that. It just looks really smooth, and really, I like when I get that blinding highlight, which I can definitely get with both of these. So I would recommend these. I've been more and more impressed with Pixi makeup lately. Pixi's skincare has always been kind of what I prefer over their makeup, but they've been coming out with some new releases lately that I'm pretty darn impressed with, and this one in Delicate Dew I would recommend as well. Okay, so that's gonna be everything for today's video reviewing some of the products that I tried out a couple weeks ago. Again, I'll have my first video linked down below if you are interested in checking it out. But other than that, let me know what you thought of all of the products that I reviewed. What have you tried? What has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? Make sure to get entered into the giveaway if you want to win those blush palettes from Stilazzi. And other than that, if you guys did enjoy this video, I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up. I hope that you'll also consider subscribing before you go. I do post every single day except for Saturday. And other than that, I'll just catch you guys in tomorrow's video.